Alongside of me, Peter Schmuck from the Baltimore Sun, and down the line, Roch Kubatko from MASNsports.com. Both cover the Orioles on a daily basis, a regular basis, all season long. Let's talk a little bit about Brian Matusz, Peter, his status right now and when you think he'll possibly be back.
Well, Buck Showalter said today that Brian Matusz likely would be activated on Thursday in Texas. Been saying for a few days that it would happen, that this would happen in Texas, one of the days in Texas. The big question, of course, is how do they make room for him on the roster? They've had 8 relievers throughout the first week of the season. And if you look at it, they do need the extra left-hander, but they have a whole bunch of wild cards in that bullpen because they're going to have to replace a pitcher. They do not have the flexibility on the position side to make that a bigger pitching staff.
Roch, why the delay, you think? I mean, there was some thought he might come back this weekend.
Right. Well, what it is, I talked to Brian about it, and first of all, they want to go ahead and stretch him out a little bit more. He only threw 2 innings in spring training, so they're trying to build up his innings here as if where he would be when he broke camp. But also, he told me they want to get another tick up on his velocity on his fastball because he'd worked out really as a starter the last few springs, really wasn't able to do that. So you stretch him out to 2 to 3 innings on Monday at Bowie, and then he'll be ready to give a couple days off. You activate him Thursday, but like you're saying, making room for him is a little bit tricky. And you have T.J. McFarland, who has options. Michael Givens has options. Tyler Wilson, Mike Wright. Those are seen to be 4 guys, but you could make arguments for all 4 of them to stay or why you might be able to remove them. McFarland is a valuable lefty long man behind 5 right-handed starters. I've heard people say, well, with Givens, you already have Bundy now, and you have O'Day and Brock. So he could be a little bit redundant if you need to send him down. He was so good at Bowie and Baltimore last year. Tyler Wilson's only pitched once, and you might want him in a rotation at Norfolk and get him in every 5-day routine of starting. He's a valuable long man here who could get plugged into the rotation conceivably. Mike Wright starting Tuesday. I don't know if he's auditioning to stay. There are a lot of moving parts, as Buck likes to say.
Now, at the end of today's play, the season will be 1 week old, and it'll cap off Joey Mania here in Baltimore. And the fans have been going, Joey, Joey. Let's talk a little bit about what this player has done to the Orioles this week, Joey Rickard.
Well, it's been really amazing. Obviously, 3 multi-hit games, and the one game he did not have a multi-hit game. He hits his first major league home run. Of course, it was a little premature probably for the fans to begin chanting his name in his 3rd at-bat in the major leagues. But it's just been exciting to watch this young man. He's a very nice young man, fresh-faced. Fans love this kind of player. Had a terrific spring, just a terrific spring, and carried it all the way through. And then there was the question, can he hit the real guys? And so far he's been able to. I think you have to step back a little and realize that this young man is going to have some developing to do. It's not going to be like this all the time, but this is certainly a very, very exciting start for this young fellow, and we're all enjoying the heck out of it.
I disagree. Joey Rickard is the greatest player in Major League history. And I think he's going to hit 600 this year. I don't see stranger things have happened, or no, maybe not, but it has been fun. And one thing that I noticed, because of course he always seems to be tied now to Kim, who's finally making his debut today. And I know the Korean media one day actually surrounded Joey's locker and basically were asking him questions like, do you feel like you're a better player than him? Because he's kind of tied to Kim being on the bench. And we should stress there are other outfielders in camp, including Alfredo Marte, who outplayed Kim in spring training. But Rickard certainly was head and shoulders above him. But I've noticed that there was a photo that we ran online on Twitter. It may have been Masson or the Orioles account, where Joey's getting the curtain call and he's coming out. And you see Kim kind of smiling, leaning on the railing like he was enjoying it as well. So I don't think there's any bitterness there. I think everybody is enjoying the fact that Joey's had this kind of a start. There's a lot of things to like about the kid. It may be premature to have the statue out there now for him. I don't know why you would do that. But it has really been fun. And he's a plus guy. He's got a lot of different tools his team needs. The on-base capabilities. It's not wasted speed. He actually can steal you a base, which David Lowe didn't really do for them. Felix P.A. couldn't do. This isn't wasted speed. This guy is really a threat on the base paths, a plus defender at all 3 positions. He plays a great center field, and now is getting a chance to do that. So he earned his way on here. But I think it's important to note that it's not like that Kim is bitter or there's some uncomfortable or awkwardness between them. Their lockers are next to each other. Everything's fine.
Now, you mentioned Kim's name. He's in the starting lineup today, batting last in the lineup in left field as a starter. When you look at Kim right now, I mean, Buck Showalter does not bury any of his players. He likes to keep them all active. Here, what are your thoughts on Kim at that?
Well, I think Kim needs to do something, and that's a lot of pressure. He came through spring training, the 0 for 23 hitless streak. It was really a very, very painful time for him. He had all the Korean media here with great expectations for him coming to the major leagues, and it just didn't happen. Then you have the controversy at the end of spring training, and he shows up here at this point with Joey Rickard doing so well. It's really tough to get him in the lineup, and it's going to continue to be tough to get him in the lineup, which just puts more pressure on him because Hyun-Soo Kim has got to do something. In fact, today, he needs to get a hit or two today. There's only going to be so many opportunities before the Orioles are going to be forced into a decision.
And the Orioles wanted him to go down, and of course, he had to give his consent and wouldn't do it. They basically wanted to give him an extended spring training. They didn't feel like he was ready yet, so you send him back down, or keep him in Sarasota, or you send him obviously to Norfolk was the plan, and have him like an extended spring, get more at-bats, work on some things. And instead, they're trying to do that here. Yesterday, when the cage finally came out for batting practice, when it stopped sleeting for a few minutes, he was the first guy out there. He was by himself on the field with his interpreter, ready to take batting practice. So he's getting extra swings. He's doing everything he can in non-game situations to get ready. And we'll see if he can do something today. He's not going to play tomorrow because they've got David Price in Boston, who's a lefty. If Smiley had been moved to today, and his start was rained out last night, Kim wouldn't have been in the lineup today. They're not going to go lefty versus lefty. So it worked out to have Odorizzi out there, who was very tough, by the way, but at least it's a matchup lefty-righty. But he'll be back on the bench tomorrow.
These two guys do a great job covering the Orioles. In fact, the Orioles are their lives. Peter Schmuck from the Baltimore Sun.
That's sad. That is sad.
Roch Kubatko from MatchesSports.com.